right, so again, like I say, man, I don't want to come up here and like BS people like, man, you know what? I'm not going to come and tell you like some of the meats and potatoes what I do, because I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell you what I do, but you're not me. So that's what I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, but you're not me. So again, so understand. So the first thing I told you is you got to implement a foundation. Hey, man, this is in and out with us. Our foundation is this: pressure on the defense. So you guys, you can write it down or you can't. I'm going to give you guys our pressure on defense formula. So you get this before you get your batting average. I'm going to give you the pressure on defense formula. So again, understanding the thought process. That the pressure on the defense formula is that you are going to add your pop-ups and you're going to add your strikeouts. And then you divide them by your official at-bats. And it should go into it 4 times. Because 4 times is what? 25%. So I want people putting pressure on the defense 75% of the time. So it goes into it 4 times. So immediately, like, you're not really going to be you like Donna Tyson, right? My daughter. She was never a starter until she was a senior. In the middle of her senior year, she was a starter because she led my team in pop-ups. So if you pop up and strike out, right, you can't help us on defense. So, man, I don't deal with people who pop up, but I don't deal with people who strike out. So, man, pitchers, like I said, again, ball to strike ratio. I'm not really a pitching coach. I just know what I want. Like, hey, man, 2-to-1. I want 2-to-1 strikeout ratio. And I tell everybody, like, man, like Megan yesterday, man, I'm a killer of ball to strike ratio. Like Megan Langenfield. Man, she used to be 3 to 4 to 1. Well, my kids sometimes throw too many strikes. Like yesterday, Megan was throwing too many strikes, especially early in the count. Of course, I gave her a call and told her that. So again, now you watch. Yeah, here we go. Hey, when people are swinging a first pitch changeup, hey, they're sitting early pitches. Like that should be a wake-up call. Hey, the catcher hit a first pitch changeup in the first inning. Hey. Here we go. Defense wins championships. Elite defenses make errors one error a game or less. If you're going to be an elite defense, you're going to make 1 error or less. So they're going to get this information before they get their real stats. Like, you guys, you know what? You're terrible at what we're trying to get accomplished. The scorebook is the Bible. I don't use Game Changer. And so I'm an old school person. We got the scorebook, and I implement it through turbo stats. So, man, understand the thought process. I don't use, because of my system, I can't use Game Changer, because I want the ball hit forward, and you can't advance runners. Like, I'm now a softball coach, but I was a baseball coach. But you should understand it. So, man, if you can't advance runners, you can't win in fast-pitch softball. Hey, everybody, hey, Oregon State had bases loaded, no outs, winning 1-0. They didn't score any runs. That could have broke the whole game. Like, everybody's looking at the game differently. Like, you should understand the thought process. So the scorebook is the Bible because there's no lies in the scorebook. Practices are game-orientated. To implement the offensive, defensive game plan, practice plan provided for every practice. So, man, you can't come out there and you guys are, what are we doing? Everybody's standing around. This is the worst thing in practice, building your team. What are we doing? And so I tell my kids, we have a practice plan every practice. And I tell everybody, now understand this, don't mess off the practice, because the time is irrelevant. It's the completion of the practice plan. So the time, this is why I want to get it done in that time, but really it's up to you. So, man, here we go. Playing time is divided up evenly. Rotations like in the fall, like we're saying. You know what? That some of you guys fear having a lot of players. Like, man, everybody looks around and says, man, you got 24 players. Man, what are you doing over there? You got 24 players. Because as I tell everybody, like, I'm going to tell you my rotation. Is that we're going to back 12. See, you guys, I look at people and I'm like, man, we say we peak, right? Man, we're out there getting our butt kicked in Colorado, because in pool play, my season doesn't start until single elimination in Colorado. All right, now, single elimination now. Hey, there's no more rotations. Hey, you got till single elimination to prove yourself. So you start understanding that team and building a team. I'm going to give the same energy to my 24th player as I do my first player. That's going to be the key. Like, man, everybody's going to be taught the same. Go ahead, huh? All right, so this is what it looked like. Here we go. So this is the fielding at the World Series. Here we go. I do this every year. Here we go, so you start understanding it. Oklahoma State, they only got 28 errors in the whole year. Hey, man, you start watching order of finish. Hey, Oklahoma only has 30 errors the whole year. You guys, I says, man, Texas, they were iffy-offy, but they had 71 errors for the whole year. I'm like, hey, man, hey, put the ball in play. Hey, that's what I tell people. People who pop up and strike out, you can't play for me because we want to put pressure on the defense. And this is a scorebook. Like, this is our scorebook, right? I just took a picture. My daughter wanted to definitely. So I tell everybody, hey, 12 pop-ups, 2 strikeouts. So that's the first thing they're going to get on the. I'm going to write it down in a book. So you start understanding, like, hey, you guys, you had 12 pop-ups and 2 strikeouts. And what percentage of at-bats did we have? So 2/3 of our outs are pop-ups and strikeouts, and you expect to win. So that's what I tell you, like, understanding, like, how to peak and what you're doing. So, man, it's always consistent in what we're going to do. So you start figuring it out. All right, now, the reason I don't use Game Changer, I don't count balls hit the third, and I don't count balls hit the first. Those aren't ground balls. My ground ball leaders are All-Americans because they're always hitting the ball forward. They're staying close. So, man, I don't count ground balls at third, and I don't count ground balls at first. So that's why I have to do it manually, because guess what Game Changer is going to do? They're going to count it as a ground ball. I don't want it as a ground ball. So I got to do everything manually. Go ahead. So this is our practice plan. All right, 10 to 10, 15 stretching. We always going to do somebody's test to pass. So again, we've always do a fit test. So again, we always try to do anybody's fit. Everybody's got different fit tests. So I try to implement a fit test every practice. So man, we got the 300-yard shuttles. They got to make it in 1 minute 10. I give them a 5-minute break after running. We're going to throw for 15 minutes. There's different spins. So again, the rotations, we're going to go 12 to 6 and 3 to 9. So hey, man, we're going to work. So everybody's got to understand what we're doing. Then kneeling, throwing. Then we do infield, outfield, catchers, pitchers. So man, infield, we're going to do tennis balls. We're going to do kneeling, turn and two, footwork, below and above. Again, everything's pitchers, seated releases. So they were working on releases being seated down. Catchers working on blocking. And then what we do is this. We do 6 minutes of perfect softball. So 6 minutes of perfect softball. You guys, everybody's got probably different names for it, but we do 6 minutes of perfect softball. That means we ain't having no mental mistakes. Sometimes it takes us to do 20 minutes to do 6 minutes of perfect softball. So again, you should understand the thought process. Circuit, we'll have a circuit of what we're doing. So while the pitchers are warming up, we'll do circuit. Go ahead. So you guys, I don't know if you guys, every state's different. We have high school. So what I try to do, because they're playing softball every day, so what I try to do is not burn them out during high school season. So we practice every other Sunday. All right, and so you start understanding it. The other thing is everybody's temperamental on pitching live to your players. Man, let me tell you this. Some of the best battles that you want at popcorn and soda too is watch Shay Knighton bat against Rachel Garcia in practice. We were just talking about that yesterday. Like, hey, man, I don't mind. Like, oh, my God. It's either or. Like, oh, my God, we're talking Rachel. Rachel's at San Diego State. And Stacy says Rachel didn't know how to throw batting practice. Nah, because she ain't ever threw no damn batting practice for me. Like, hey, bro, we're getting it in. They're going to say, so everybody's going to get it in. So we start understanding like this, right? With a runner at third base and 1 out, what are we trying to do? With a runner at third base and 1 out, what are we trying to do? You think with a runner at third base and 1 out, the other team's trying to induce you to hit the ball to the left side of the diamond. They're going to have to try to induce you to hit the ball to third base. They're going to try to induce you to hit the ball to shortstop. So they're trying to induce you to hit the ball so we're going to go. We say, okay, so of course I'm pissed off in the game when we done worked on it for 2 hours that, hey, guess what? Surprise, surprise, they're throwing you inside with a runner at third and 1 out. Oh, hey, surprise, surprise, they're throwing you a changeup with a runner at third and 1 out. Hey, bro, this ain't no surprise to my people, and I'm not going to tolerate it and act like we haven't spent 2 hours on going over it. So that's what I talk about, like more specific, like what are we trying to do? So it's not a surprise. Hey, with a runner at third and 1 out, hey, what are we trying to do? We're trying offensive, defensive. We're trying to get a swing and miss or induce them to hit the ball to third base. And the other thing is this, though, just so super important, is that in Salinas, our second year in Go, Ralph Wheatley came to me and he said, man, Marty, you're going to kill yourself. That's what he told me. And he said that because you really think you can win the game. Like, you really think you can win the game. You cannot win the game. And, man, I know it doesn't look like but I took a little bit from that. I know sometimes it doesn't look like it, but I have. And so what I say is, again, like winning the game. I done played this man a lot. I played this man a lot. I'm telling you guys about philosophies, right? With a runner at third base and 1 out, what are we looking for offensively? We're looking for something up or something away. Well, man, we get up here, we're playing international tiebreaker with Mike them in the PGF, and man, I tell everybody, like Megan haunted that when UCLA won. Lisa said Megan had so much relief that you guys, Rachel gave up the tying home run to Shea, right? It was Kinsley Washington who hit the game-winning hit in. So Megan has been wearing this because she gave up 2 home runs to Mike them that tied the game. And Megan comes off the field, she's a senior, and she comes to me and she's like crying. I says, dude, I gave her some good language. I'm like, hey, dude, the game ain't over, and we the home team. Like, cut it down. Don't quit out here. And that's what everybody don't understand is that, hey, man, Megan came in the next and shut them out. And so we're the home team. Guess what, bro? About philosophy, right? Sir Willis hits the first pitch to the first baseman. And then Matty Husky, who's at Washington, and Giselle Tapia, who's at Duke, they both struck out. Man, that was the game. And you start understanding, like, so they were put in place. Then I asked Sarah Willis, because she was returning player. I said, hey, what's our philosophy with a runner at third base and one out? What were you looking for? And she said, I don't know. She said, I don't know. We beat that team you played twice. They couldn't hit Megan. We had to get by you to play that team, but we beat that team twice. And I'm like, dude, what you cost and what you do. And you start understanding, like, man, we all are going to walk around like time machines, like this guy, right? Well, he brought back Megan Langfield. I brought back Nina Bryant and Christina Shalik. And we're up here, we got bases loaded, we're down 1. I'm like, okay, man, hey, you know what? We're gonna get this done. Guess what? Megan got both of them. I said, do them college kids.
You guys, but this is like the two of us, this is who we are. See, he goes over there and he's hollering and yelling, and I just sit back and watch him go. And you guys, our friendship is different because, like, when we're on the field, one time Marty says, hey, we can't shake hands because they think I hate you, so we got to, but our families are the same. We do this, we're in the same business, but this is how it is. Marty's always going, and I'm like that at practice, but in the games, I kind of stay back. It's interesting, Marty put up on this thing, like he talked about the scorebook. There's 2 things you'll never see in a Batbuster dugout: a watch or a scorebook. Never. I don't time a game. I don't keep score of anything. I remember in my head who did what and when, and I know that he does it for, we have our different styles of getting to where we want to get to. And when I was coaching with Gary Henning, we used to write the lineup. Gary would pull a paper plate out of the trash can and write the lineup and put it with a stiff piece of gum up on the dugout. And Judy will tell you, that's a fact. And it's just, it's a culture. It's just different. We do things different. And that's why there's things that Marty is so passionate about, and we're just as passionate about something that's sometimes completely different, but yet completely the same. And it's unique, and you see our personalities. This is what it is every day. Every time we play, it's the same way. We're a practice team. We practice a lot more than we play. And in the fall, we go through it. Our workouts are similar. We're only on the dirt for 3 hours at a time. I don't keep, for many reasons, I just don't think that it's fair to your athletes to keep them out there for 5, 6, 7. These people we were out there for 5, 6 hours. I go, what the hell did you do for 5 or 6 hours? Like what? But I think that if you hit them with a lot of information in a small window, they're constantly in motion. I think that they appreciate it because their time is valuable. You're prepared, like Marty says. Nobody at our practice comes in, what are we doing? What are we doing today? That's never the case. It's always on. Everybody has the same thing we're doing. But it's always preparation. The fundamentals, the things that we believe in and the things that we practice over and over again are repeated all the time. And, just like Marty stated earlier, we're going to teach them and we're going to expect them to perform. And if they're not, then somebody else will chase them down. Our roster's made up differently. I always have younger players on my team. Every year you play my team, I'll have 2 or 3 freshmen starting, maybe a couple sophomores starting, because that's how the competition of this rotates all the time. They're competing against each other. Now, when we get to the end, the best people play. But that competition is what puts that edge at practice, and that's the whole thing. It's all competition. Marty put on there about practice. You practice how you play, and you play how you practice. Both of those fit because it's on. It's the foot's on the gas at practice, and that's the way we expect them to play.